Good evening, my dear UPC aspirants. So, I'm extremely sorry for the 2 days. I know some of them are addicted to my editorial sessions because morning you will have an opportunity to get the gist of the important facts and concepts behind the editorial analysis. So, what exactly happened was, it is actually the irresponsibility of my newspaper agent over here that I used to subscribe the Hindu newspaper, but what really happened was that this newspaper agent will bring to my home this newspaper by around 11:30 in the morning. So that will affect my preparation. In the sense, I am also preparing, going to give this attempt as well of UPSC 2022. So when I have planned for a pakka study wala schedule and timetable and all, when this newspaper comes late, I hope it's a sort of irritation for me, because we are going with a schedule like morning this much live classes we will attend, we will study, revise this much like that. So it damages my entire schedule or the plan which I am assigning as to complete my syllabus of UPSC. So due to this, why I am telling this story is that I have to go just to collect this newspaper. I have to go to collect Hindu, the hard copy thing. I have to go 2 kilometers away from a tea stall. I used to get this and come back, and it is then only I can give you an analysis of this particular editorial sessions. Now some of you might be thinking there is soft copy as well, so why are you taking this much stress? See, soft copy is there. We have certain PDFs which highlighter and all, with highlighter and all, that is there. But for me as a UPSC aspirant, come educator, I feel comfortable when I get this hard copy wala thing. So morning full I will be studying, and in between, in the noon time, when I am about to have my food, I go. That 30 minutes, within the 30 minutes, it needs minimum of 30 minutes to drive from here and go and get this in the newspaper. But not at all an issue, because I am dedicated into this examination. So I have to go and get, whether it is 2 kilometers or 3 kilometers. But I just want to highlight the irresponsibility of the newspaper agents in some parts of Kerala, as well as why you are not getting editorial analysis for the last 2 days. That's what I am telling. So first and foremost, apology from my side. Now, from third onwards, our editorial analysis session discussion is missing. So back to the topic anyways. So in third newspaper, the important topic which I felt was regarding the NSP issue. So what is NSP? It is not this Ramayana and all what happened regarding Pakistan, all they will be asking. Of course, you can add some, jot down some points from this, what they are debating inside this article for your mains examination. But for prelims, they are not going to ask all these things. They will ask you about that NSP 2021 wala. Hope everybody is aware of that. What is NSP? NSP is National Security Policy, alright. Now, what is the need for such a national security policy? First and foremost, see why this is becoming an issue. See, when we concern India, it ranks third in terms of the highest number of internet users in the world after the USA and China. But then also, the tragedy is the cybersecurity architecture, approach and all. Regarding that, we have to discuss. See, about the cyber warfare in India. Cyber warfare, what is that? The term you all might be familiar. Cyber warfare means it typically involves the use of illegal exploitation methods on the internet, corruption or disruption of computer networks, and software hacking, computer forensics and espionage. So what are the arguments in favor of cyber warfare? See, arguments we can tell positive as well as negative. Like if we tell favoring the cyber warfare, we can tell it minimizes human life loss. Like reducing loss of human lives forms one of the core principles of ethics of war. Now the cyber wars can be seen as an opportunity to decrease global violence and can shift war's focus away from human casualties. Second importance of the cyber warfare is it prevents physical territorial invasions. Like fighting digitally offers a unique opportunity without the physical invasion of a sovereign territory. Now what about the negativities of the cyber warfare? Here comes the arguments against. First one, it is a threat to international security. Why? Because cyber warfare attacks on military infrastructure, government and private communication systems and financial market that will pose a rapidly growing but little understood threat to international security, and at times it can become a decisive weapon in future conflicts among states. Second one, more frequent conflicts. With cyber warfare becoming a rule, each nation will have to be more prepared for bilateral conflicts, that too based on cyber warfare, rather than in the multilateral acts of conventional war or rely on military blocks for mobilization. Third one is lowering threshold of entry into war. Weapons in the 21st century will merely be a cyber button on the desk of the nation's military or the leader of the government. Then, what are the threats to India? See, threats from China. The real danger to India lies in targeted cyber attacks coming from adversarial nation states like China, because that they can bring immense assets to bear in carrying out sophisticated cyber attacks. Second threat to India is lack of cyberspace infrastructure. See, India is one of the countries where it does not have a dedicated cyber component in its military. So, setting up of a defense cyber agency was announced for this purpose. Then, when we analyze the past experiences, India has been several times a victim of cyber attacks. Like in the case of in 2009, a suspected cyber espionage network dubbed GhostNet was found to be targeting, amongst others, the Tibetan government in exile in India and in many Indian embassies. Then in the year 2020, the power outage in Mumbai, that is also suspected to be the result of an attack by a Chinese state-sponsored group. So these are the threats regarding India. Then what is the suggestion you can do regarding this particular thing? First one is we have to bring forth the new agenda. Like the agenda should focus on critical and emerging technologies, infrastructure, cyber security and maritime security. Then we have to change the strategy for a new national security policy where we can anticipate the enemies in many dimensions by developing a strategy of deterrence of the enemy. Then we have to set the priorities, like the NSP should prioritize on areas which will require new departments for supporting innovation and technologies, hydrogen fuel cells, thorium for nuclear technology, anti-computer viruses, etc. Then we have to clarify the objectives, like in the NSP policy in the 21st century, it will define what assets are required to be defended, etc. So the objective should be clarified. Then next thing what we can do is regarding the role of policy makers. Government should bring out a separate budget for cyber security. Then regarding defense, deterrence and exploitation, in any national strategy to counter cyber threats, these three are the main components. The first one is deterrence in cyberspace, which is a complex issue. Then critical cyber infrastructure must be defended. Third one, exploiting cyberspace to achieve national security objectives. So these are the suggestions as to how we can bring some change in this particular field. Then thus we can conclude from this topic that a clear public posture on cyber defense and warfare boosts citizen confidence, helps build trust among allies, and clearly signals intent to potential adversaries, thereby enabling a more stable and secure cyber ecosystem. So hope the core of this particular article is crystal clear for you all. So thanks for watching my editorial session part 1 of 3rd January. Wait for the part 2, it will be uploaded recently. Thank you and bye.